Hey guys, you all know why I'm here. Obviously, it's Saturday, and you know now, and so by now you should know why I go live on Saturdays. Let's look at the live chat. I guess some of you guys have been commenting. Ever Blessed, thank you for coming. Danny, thank you for coming. My cool dog, which is also Danny. Thank you for coming. You guys know why I'm here. And before I get into the wrestling stuff that I want to talk about, I want to talk about the videos. If you don't watch my videos and stuff, if you haven't seen some of my more recent videos, I do suggest you watch them. I have now officially have 3 separate playlists that are basically just on all 3 playlists have videos that are just of me, that are just of my videos. I have one that has all of my shorts on it. I have one playlist that has a bunch of my live streams on it. I don't have all of them on that playlist, but eventually I'll get around to doing it. Yeah. For those of you who may just now be coming in, if you want to put a like on the live stream, feel free to do so. You don't have to, but it is appreciated. It does seem like I'm so glitching just a little bit, like it's, I don't know. But yeah, I have 3 playlists that just have my videos on it. One has obviously, like I said, one has my live streams, one has my shorts videos, and then the third one just has my regular videos. Obviously, shorts are videos that are less than a minute long, and then there's my regular videos, all of which last a minute long. But recently, I have been doing a number of shout-out videos. Now, some have been in the form of shorts, and then the most recent 2 that I've done have been actual videos. One was to a friend of mine named Latin50. I also shared one of his most recent live streams on my community tab, so feel free to take a look at that if you want. I also just recently did a shout out to Danny. Actually, I think I did 2 shout outs for Danny. My Cool Dog, I think it was, My Cool Dog and DJ Wrestling Inc. I literally just did the DJ Wrestling Inc. shout out video, so some of you guys want to check out those videos. And I have at least 2 or 3 other shout out videos for a couple of people on here. And I'll be doing some. I have a second channel, and so I might do some shout out videos on that channel as well for some of the subscribers I have on that, some of the people that I subscribe to on that channel, just to shout them out. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Today I didn't bring my regular notepad that I usually use, but I had this one, but I also had this, which is like just a bunch of just yellow paper. So I just used this instead for my notes when it came to the weekly shows, all the shows this week. So yeah, I've been doing a bunch of shout out videos. If you want a shout out, I will be doing another community post today at some point, asking, does anybody want me to do like a little shout out video for them? If so, like the community post and leave a comment if you would like a shout out, and I will do it as soon as I can. So without further ado, I might just need to I guess I should just get into the wrestling, because this is why I go live every Saturday. Wrestling Week in Review. And I'm drinking Propel today, berry flavored. It is so good. If you haven't tried these yet, then you should. They are literally, they are great. And they're good for you, basically. So, no reason why you shouldn't. But yes, Monday Night Raw saw the return of both Randy Orton and CM Punk. The opening segment was Randy Orton returning. He cut a promo. I can't remember what all was said, but then Rhea Ripley came out and said that because Randy Orton decided to show up at Survivor Series and decided to be on Cody's team, that he's now made an enemy of the Judgment Day. And I don't know if that's going to work out, how that's going to work out, because he's now officially on SmackDown. As of last night, he's now a SmackDown superstar. And so, I mean, it was a fun little promo segment. At one point, he was talking about, and I like how Randy Orton made it seem. At one point, Randy Orton did say that he has been keeping up with WWE, and he's always been hearing about his mommy this, mommy that. And I think that was actually I think, good for WWE to make it seem like Randy Orton still has been keeping tabs. Just because Randy Orton's been out for 18 months doesn't mean he hasn't been watching WWE. Clearly, he's been watching WWE, and clearly he's been keeping up with the stuff that's been going on. And he made a point of mentioning that. He's been keeping up with WWE, and all he's been hearing about is Rhea Ripley. It's about Rhea Ripley. Mommy this, mommy that, and then... Oh my... Uh-oh. I just saw a fire truck go by, so hope nothing bad's going on. But yeah. And then he would say that... And then he would tell Rhea that Daddy's home. Which I thought was funny. Which I thought was a funny part in that segment. I think the next thing we got was a backstage segment with some of the contestants in the tag team turmoil match that we were going to be getting. And so apparently Maxine brings out this country music star named Jelly Roll. I don't even know what he is. I don't even know who he is. I don't listen to country music hardly at all. Sorry, I got an itch in my back. One part of my back has an itch that I needed to scratch, and I can't seem to scratch it. Okay, I think I got it. And then him and Otis just started chest bumping each other like that's exactly what we do. Big beefy dudes just chest bumping each other like that. Then we got the tag team turmoil match. It was a good match. I think as far as who I thought was going to win the tag team turmoil match, we already had seen Judgment Day versus New Day within the last couple of months, within the last month or so. So it was like, I don't know if I want to see them again. DIY seemed like a good choice to maybe go up against Judgment Day. And then we got the Creed brothers, we got Indus-Sher, and we also got Imperium. A nice little group of tag teams. Ugh, I still got an itch. But it's still sort of itching. But ultimately, Creed brothers did win. They actually went on they beat, I think it was DIY. Then they beat the New Day, then they beat Imperium. So they basically fended off 3 teams. And the crowd at the end of the match was really into them. Seemed really into them. So I'm very much excited for what happens with the Creed brothers because I like them. I saw them in NXT, and they were amazing in NXT. So I'm like, okay, I like these guys already. I think they are a good babyface team to have on the main on in the tag team division. I think WWE has a couple of heel tag teams, but they don't have a and they don't. I don't know if they really have any like really good babyface teams. They have New Day, they have DIY, and they have this team. And and also Alpha Academy were also in the tag team to win a match, but they lost, which I thought was, I mean, the right move. I also might have accepted them winning, but I don't think they were gonna win that match anyways. Maybe if Chad Gable had been in the match, maybe they would have won. But I think Chad Gable is now gonna be focusing on the singles division more, and so we might be seeing Otis and Tozawa tag teaming a lot more. But yes, Creed Brothers won the tag team Royal match. They will face Judgment Day probably next week, probably this upcoming Monday. Makes sense. Although if you want, you can delay it for at least a week and then have them sort of build up this match instead of just have it just so and not just sort of build up to the match by having a tag team match and then the very next week like, oh, okay, you're facing them the very next week. Like, give them some time to actually build up this sort of rivalry. Have Julius face Damian Priest. I mean, I don't know how good of a match that would be, but it sounds like that would be a good match. But I don't know if they do the match next week, this upcoming Monday. I'm not gonna hate on it. It's just that I would like it if they sort of build up to the match instead of just give us the match automatically, as if we need to have this match right now. But I don't know. Thank you guys for coming, and thank you for that third like. Whoever did that third like, thank you. I don't know if the live chat is. Yes, badass Vincent stoned every day. I don't know why I didn't see your guys' comments when you commented because I have the live chat on and it looks like you guys are able to leave comments, but I don't know if I can see them. But at least when they pop up, I can't seem to see them. But that's okay. That's okay. We got Judgment Day promo. Basically, it was the same thing that we always said. Rhea Ripley doesn't blame Damian Priest for the loss at Survivor Series. I feel like eventually we are going to get Damian Priest out of Judgment Day. Maybe this may be the plan all along, just was to have JD McDonough come in and to replace Damian Priest. I don't know. But it does look like we may be getting Damian Priest out of Judgment Day. And it also looks like we're going to be getting Bayley out of Damage Control, which I will talk about later when I get to SmackDown. Then we also got R-Truth, apparently made himself comfortable in the Judgment Day's little clubhouse area. And he actually was involved in that earlier segment with Jelly Roll. And he was basically, I guess that's what he was eating, was a actual Jelly Roll. I don't know what he had on his plate, but his face was covered in sugar and powder and stuff. Probably from what he was eating. I don't know what he was eating, but it didn't look very good to me. I'm very particular when it comes to food. But yeah, we got that. We also we got a Cody Rhodes promo. Cody Rhodes is now officially announced that he will be entering the Royal Rumble match. I do not expect him to win the Royal Rumble match because I feel like he doesn't need to to win the Royal Rumble match to get a shot at Roman Reigns' title. But that may be the way WWE wants to go, because they feel like that's the only way they can go. Like, they can go the Elimination Chamber route, but that just but they feel like that's just too unpredictable. I don't know. He may win the Royal Rumble, he may not. I'll be okay with it if he wins a second year in a row, but I just don't think he needs to win to get his shot at Roman Reigns. Now, Shinsuke Nakamura interrupted this promo segment and essentially revealed that he is the guy and basically Shinsuke in this segment made it clear that Cody Rhodes was the one that he was talking about all this time. So I don't know what to think about that. Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke Nakamura in sort of like a mini feud heading into the Royal Rumble match. In the Royal Rumble, that could be the main rivalry that takes place in this month of December. Which, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a bad match. It shouldn't be a bad match. It should be a pretty decent match. But I just don't. But it's definitely it definitely keeps them busy, and it keeps Cody Rhodes busy and away from anybody else, including Judgment Day, which I'm glad that they made it clear that after War Games, Cody Rhodes is now officially done with Judgment Day, because he's now entering into a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura. Why would he be feuding with totally different people? Why would he be feuding with both Shinsuke Nakamura and Judgment Day at the same time? So I'm glad that he is done with Judgment Day. But I'm also concerned about something else, which I'll get to when I get to SmackDown. We got some of the matches that we got. We got Ivar versus Bronson Reed. I mean, this match was good, was very good, and it was just the usual slobber knocker of two big men just throwing hands and throwing their best hands at each other. It ended in a double countout, which I think was actually the best idea, because I don't think they really want either one to take the pin in this first match, so they just decided to go the obvious route and do a double countout, with both of them just slugging it out, getting the upper hand, which I thought was good. We got Gunther backstage talking with Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. And apparently this upcoming Monday Night Raw, we will be getting Imperium. Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium versus DIY in a 2 out of 3 falls match. The last 2 out of 3 falls match I can think of that DIY was a part of was an NXT pay-per-view against FTR. I think it was the Revival versus DIY at an NXT pay-per-view. I think it was NXT Toronto, TakeOver Toronto in like 2016, I think. And it was when DIY won the tag team titles from the Revival, and I'm pretty sure that was a 2 out of 3 falls match. I might be wrong, but if it was, then they have won a 2 out of 3 falls match as a tag team before. So that match should also be good. We're getting Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. My guess is that Seth will obviously win. Drew McIntyre will probably get himself involved in the match at some point. Sort of further his feud with Jey Uso and with Seth Rollins. I'm thinking Seth versus Drew could be for the Royal Rumble match. Drew will probably lose again. I don't know why they're gonna have They should have just had Drew McIntyre win the title at SummerSlam at Crown Jewel, but maybe they were gonna have Gunther beat him at WrestleMania, Seth at WrestleMania. But now that CM Punk's back, I have a feeling they're gonna go with CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, and I'm gonna talk about this right now for a bit, if you guys don't mind. I Look, you may not like this, you may not like what I'm about to say, but I'm just gonna say it, and I'm just come right out and say it. I don't think CM Punk versus Seth Rollins needs to happen at WrestleMania. If that's what they are inevitably going to do, I mean, before CM Punk came back, I thought the obvious person to win the Royal Rumble, challenge Seth, and ultimately beat him for the World Heavyweight Championship was Gunther. I thought that was the guy that was going to do it. And now that CM Punk has come back, they've basically been making it pretty clear that Seth Rollins either just hates Punk or just for some reason just can't seem to stand the fact that Punk's back in WWE, and eventually they're gonna fight. More than likely, it's gonna happen at WrestleMania over the World Heavyweight Championship. So CM Punk could very well win the Royal Rumble this upcoming year. And that's something that I'm not going to be mad at, but I just don't think he needs to win. He needs to face Seth Rollins right now for the World Heavyweight Championship. I just don't feel like it needs to happen. I think Gunther needs it more. He's been here since last year, and he's held the Intercontinental title longer than anybody in history. He passed the record that he surpassed Honky Tonk's record. He's now the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. I feel like he needs this because he's actually been here week after week after week for the past year. To be honest, he's been in WWE for well over 4 years, while Punk's been literally for the past 4 years, either been doing nothing or has been in another promotion doing what he wants to do. And now CM Punk's is going to come back, and in only a few short months, he's going to get a world title shot that he may not need. I mean, yet. I mean, look, he could still win the World Heavyweight Championship at some point. He could still win the World Heavyweight Championship at some point, but I don't think it needs to be right now. Hey, Everboss, thank you for coming. If there are any of you that are just now coming in and want to leave a like on the live stream, feel free to do so. It's not a requirement, but I would appreciate it. I don't know if Danny's still here, but if he's still here, thank you for sticking around. Yeah, you were the first person to leave a comment. Thank you. Thanks, man. And it looks like I got 5 people watching. Can I get 5 likes? It says I got 5 people watching. I should have at least 5 likes if I've got 5 people. My philosophy is the amount of likes I have should mimic the amount of people I have watching me. So if I have 5 people watching, I should have at least 5 likes. Hey, if that makes me sound super conceited or whatever, or narcissistic of myself, I don't care. We got Drew versus Seth Rollins promo. Seth Rollins came out, said he basically didn't want to talk about that guy that returned at Survivor Series. Not Randy Orton. He's okay with Randy Orton. But the other guy, CM Punk, he says he wants to be a fighting champion again because he hasn't defended his title on Monday Night Raw since Damian Priest Sami Zayn, I think, may have been the last person to get a World Heavyweight Championship shot on Monday Night Raw. And I can't remember when that was. That might have been on the road to Crown Jewel. No, I don't think that he should win the title from Roman Reigns. Yes, that match could potentially happen at some point, like maybe after Roman Reigns loses the title to Cody Rhodes. But definitely the fact that Paul Heyman used to manage CM Punk, that would be like another. It's like another Brock Lesnar case where a former Paul Heyman guy comes to challenge Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman is conflicted. Like, I used to manage this guy. What do I do? Hey, Austin. I don't know if he should win the IC title just yet. The IC title. I think him winning the IC title would just be a step down from where he's one of the biggest stars in the company right now. He should very well be going for the main title. He should be going for the main title. Also, if you guys, at the end of the live stream, if any of you want to leave a comment and say, hey, I liked this live stream, just like keep doing it, or just want to leave a comment about what you thought, feel free to do that as well. I don't just appreciate the likes, I also appreciate comments. If you guys want to leave a comment after the live stream is over. I know. I'm happy that he's back too. I just don't feel like he needs to. I feel like he is. The IC title is a bit beneath him at this point. I feel like at this point, if he's going to come back, he's going to go for the main titles, either Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns' titles. He's going to probably go for Seth Rollins. We got Drew McIntyre versus in Seth promo. Drew came out and. I can do that if you want. Yeah, I can do that. I'll just do another community post later today, and if you want, you can leave a comment and just say, hey, can I get a shout? Can you do a shout out for me? And I'll get to it when I can. But yeah, Drew eventually. Okay, I'll do you. Yeah, like I said, I'll be doing another community post where I'm going to ask people who wants a shout out, and you can just leave a comment as well later, awesome, on that community post and say, can you do a shout out video for me too? So basically, Drew wants a rematch for the title. Seth says, yes, I think you deserve a rematch, but not now. And he basically, and he had stated earlier he wants to be a fighting champion, so he made a so we talked to Adam Pearce, and he'll be defending the World Heavyweight Championship this upcoming Monday night on Raw. And then when Seth told Drew that he'll be defending the title against Jey Uso, he snapped. He did a headbutt to Seth Rollins, but I think he may have botched it because he wound up hitting the title instead. I think he was supposed to like headbutt Seth Rollins, and he didn't actually headbutt Seth Rollins, but he hit the title, and I think Seth Rollins dropped to the floor like he was supposed, like he had been headbutted, but he wasn't actually. He didn't actually get hit with a headbutt. It was more of the title, and he got a little bit of a gash. Drew McIntyre did, but I thought that was. And I don't know what Drew was wearing underneath of that kilt, whether those were compression shorts or just boxer briefs. Like, come on, man. He could have just kept the kilt on. Oh, yeah, I did hear about that. Mackenzie Mitchell got released yesterday. She was an NXT backstage interviewer, and she was good. I can't remember. Was she the one that took over for Kayla Braxton on the bump? If so, then who are they going to get to replace her? They could get Kayla Braxton to come back, but I don't know why she left in the first place. We also we got a Drew and Sammy backstage segment. Obviously, we're going to get Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre next week, this upcoming Monday, so that's going to be good. We got a Jey Uso backstage segment where Jey Uso decided to approach Randy Orton, which I thought was a good idea. which I thought was a good for WWE to do that, to have Jey Uso basically try to make amends for what happened all those years, what happened 18 months ago when Jay basically laid out Randy Orton with the help of Jimmy and Roman. Basically, Randy said that he's okay with Jey Uso now. He's seen what Jay has done both for Cody Rhodes and some of the other guys on SmackDown. And so he wants to, and so he doesn't have a problem. Apparently, he doesn't have a problem with Jay anymore. But I don't know. The only thing Randy Orton did say was that don't get involved in my business with the judge with the bloodline, and we'll be just fine. And why would he want to get involved in the bloodline's business anymore? Because he's away from the bloodline. We got a women's tag team match. We got Tegan Knox and Natalya versus Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. Piper Niven and Chelsea Green win the match. It was an okay match for what it was, but it did absolutely nothing for all four of those women. We also got Zoey Stark versus Nia Jax. I don't know why Nia Jax is winning all these matches against superstars. That should easily be beating her. I mean, Zoey Stark shouldn't be losing to Nia Jax. She should be making a name for herself at the expense of Nia Jax. But apparently WWE feels like Nia Jax deserves the spotlight. Let's see anybody else here. Oh, hey Jeffrey, thanks for stopping by and thanks for sharing the live stream. Thanks for sharing the live stream, Jeffrey. But yeah, I don't know why Zoey Stark lost to Nia Jax, but I don't know. We also got Randy Orton versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Randy Orton wins. Now comes the main event, which was a CM Punk promo. Many people, I have now officially, there have been a lot of people since Monday that have called CM Punk PG Punk after this promo. And that they're like, oh, why didn't he rip AEW a new one? I wanted to see him trash talk AEW. Why? Well, from what I now know, him and CM Punk and AEW apparently signed a non-disclosure agreement, which basically stated that CM Punk could not talk about AEW, and vice versa. AEW couldn't talk about CM Punk, because obviously because recently Tony Khan was asked about CM Punk, and he said, I legally cannot talk about that. And now we know why he can't legally talk about that, because of an NDA that was signed by both CM Punk and AEW. So sorry to all those people who maybe who were expecting CM Punk to just go all off on AEW and like F this, F that, F that, F this, F that, FAW, F this, F that, whatever. Was not going to happen, and it will more than likely never happen now. But yeah. Also, there were people that were saying that the promo was too short. Now, from what I have now officially learned, the Randy Orton versus Dominic Mysterio match apparently went longer than expected, so they had to shave a few minutes off of Punk's main event segment, which also is another reason why it felt a little too short, was because he legit had time taken off of his segment because of the previous match that went right before his segment, going a little farther in time than was expected. If I had to rate I don't watch AEW. I can't watch AEW. But I'm subscribed to their YouTube channel, so I am able to watch the highlight videos that they upload after their shows, where they basically give us the highlights of each match and segment. And so that's what I do. If I had to rate Monday Night Raw this week, I would rate it a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10, maybe. It was good. It was a good, solid Monday Night Raw. NXT, now the NXT. NXT has been good. I've said this now about a million times. NXT, before Triple H was officially renamed head of creative, I was always saying that NXT was the better show. Was the better show. And it was, for a while, it was the better show each week. Because SmackDown was, it was okay, but it was always somewhat mid. Raw was always okay, but never really good. Again, it was also kind of mid at one point. But now that SmackDown now the SmackDown and Raw have been progressively getting better, NXT is no longer the best show of the week. Sometimes it still is, but it sometimes isn't. Tonight we got two more qualifying matches. On Tuesday we got two more qualifying matches for the Iron Survivor Challenge. We got Braun Breaker versus Eddie Thorpe. Braun Breaker wins and is now headed to Deadline for the Iron Survivor Challenge match. We got Kelani Jordan versus Kiana James. Kelani Jordan wins the match after Roxanne Perez apparently interferes in the match on Kelani's behalf, distracting Kiana James. They're apparently feuding. They're feuding at the moment. And as NXT went off the air, we saw Kiana James and Roxanne Perez in the parking lot just slugging it out. That's going to be an interesting storyline. We got Ilya Dragunov confronts. Apparently, Nathan Frazier said some things prior to NXT. Nathan Frazier apparently said some things. I don't know about that. But we'll see what happens. But earlier on in the day, before NXT went on the air, Nathan Frazier apparently had said some things. I don't know what it was that was said, but Ilya Dragunov then confronts Nathan Frazier, and that night we got a match between the two of them, which Ilya Dragunov won. It was a good, decent match for what it was. I think Nathan Frazier's great. Ilya Dragunov's great. Great. So it is what it is. We also got Alpha Academy. They challenged Meta-Four to a 6-person mixed tag team match. I don't know exactly who's going to be the one woman representing Meta-Four, whether it's Lash Legend or Jakara Jackson, whichever one of those. But I feel like it's going to be Lash Legend. So it's going to be, I guess, I'm guessing it's either going to be Otis, Maxine, and Gable, or Otis, Tozawa, and Maxine and Tozawa. I don't know. But hey, it should be a good, decent match. And also is Ora Mensah. But it's also going to feature Ora Mensah and Noam Dar, so that's going to be a great match. All of the wrestlers involved in this match are great. Are good in my mind. Then we had another backstage segment where Meta-Four accept the challenge by Alpha Academy. when I saw Alpha Academy challenge Metaphor to a match, I felt like it wouldn't have been it would not have been okay. It would not have been as interesting had Metaphor not done a segment where they respond. It wouldn't have felt right if Alpha Academy had just done the challenge and we didn't even see Metaphor's response. So I'm glad that they actually gave Metaphor a chance to respond to the challenge and accept it. I felt like that needed to happen. We got Ariana Grace versus Carmen Petrovic. At first, when I first started seeing Ariana Grace on NXT television, I was like, okay, she's okay. Then, eventually, I would come to realize Ariana Grace is the daughter of Santino Marella, which I thought was interesting. Like, oh, wow, so Santino's daughter is in WWE. Santino Marella's daughter is in WWE. And also, we got The Rock's daughter, Ava Raine, aka I think it's her real name is I think Simone. Her real first name is I think Simone. So, but and Ava Raine in NXT. So wow. So basically, two second generation talents. In Ava Raine's case, she's probably the first fourth generation. She's probably the first fourth generation talent in WWE. Because we all know that Natalya is a third generation talent because her father was Jim Neidhart. Her grandfather basically is Stu Hart. So she's basically the first third generation superstar. Ava Raine might actually be the first fourth generation. Now I don't know why they're keeping her off television. Ava Raine deserves to be. Deserves a spotlight. But Ariana Grace wins. Was what it was. It was an okay match for what it was. Does Ariana Grace sort of need the win? She sort of got this sort of like beauty pageant gimmick. I don't know what it is, but she comes out in with like a sash, like she's a beauty queen. Like I don't know. Someone's saying it's a bit obnoxious. Is it? Maybe I don't know. Maybe she's taking a page out of her dad's playbook when he won Miss WrestleMania, and he had the sash and the crown as Santina Marella. Like, oh my gosh. Oh god. That was bad on all levels. Santina Marella. And the fact that she returned at the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble match was hilarious. We also got a confrontation backstage between Lexis King and Brooks Jensen and whoever his partner is. I can't remember. I can't even get their names right. But we got Brooks Jensen versus the Lexis King. Lexis King, I guess, won because he's going to be facing off against Carmelo Hayes at Deadline, which should be a good match. I am very much excited to see that match. We also got an Andre Chase segment where now apparently Andre Chase has now been under investigation for something. I don't know what. I didn't know what it was, but we finally got the answer tonight. That on Tuesday, it was apparently someone has been using funds, Chase U funds, for illegal gambling and stuff. And immediately, as soon as the word gambling was blurted out, was said, I immediately thought, oh, Duke Hudson, because before Duke Hudson joined Chase U, his gimmick was a gamble, was that he was a gambler. And the whole premise for his match with the with the Cameron Grimes at War Games 2021 was that Cameron Grimes had beaten him in a poker game, and he had gotten, I guess, just jealous. He was just jealous. I don't know about that, but I don't know what that. I don't even know what that is. But yeah, as soon as they said the words gambling and gambling was referenced, I thought Duke Hudson, apparently. It's the only Duke Hudson, it seemed like the only thing that really makes even the lick of sense. As none of the other members of Chase U, of those four, Thea Hale, Chase U, the JC Jane, they don't have a history of gambling problems. Duke Hudson is the one that had a prior gimmick of being a gambler. Also, I think it was in the very first matchup of the night, we got Los Lotharios versus the family, Lorenzo and Stacks, Channing, Lorenzo, Stacks, and Tony D'Angelo. Now, apparently, there's been a lot of news about this match because Los Lotharios did a move. I can't remember which one of them did it, but one of the two members of Los Lotharios hit a Tiger Driver 98 or 97 or 98, whichever number it is, on Stacks. And apparently that's been a banned move in WWE for a while now. So this may mean that they're going to bring back that move, and they're going to be able to bring back that move. And apparently Cedric Alexander was even supposed to be happy about that, because I guess he has his own version of that move that he does, of that Tiger Driver move that he does. I'm guessing he's not thinking, oh, hey, I can use that. I can use one of my favorite moves again. I don't know, but a lot of people were talking about that move being done during that match, considering that it was supposed to be a banned move. I can understand why WWE would ban certain moves, because some of those certain moves may be too dangerous, or certain moves might be considered un-PG for a PG product. Also, they don't want wrestlers to get themselves injured. Like, I don't know if Tyler Bate still uses his Tyler Driver 97 move, but if he doesn't, then I understand why. But now that they seemingly brought that move back, maybe he can start using it again. I don't know. We also got the main event was a fatal four-way match between four former NXT North American champions. Wes Lee, Johnny Gargano, Cameron Grimes, and Bronson Reed. The premise of this match was that Wes Lee had to win the match to get a shot at Dominic Mysterio's North American Championship. This match was the best match of the night. That Braun Breaker versus Eddie Thorpe and Family versus Los Lotharios may have been a close second for me, but this was by far the best match of the night. It was great. Everybody in the match killed it. Apparently they decided to do something which I thought was ingenious. They had Ivar come down to NXT to sort of get his revenge on Bronson Reed from what happened on Monday night, which I thought was a good idea, which was good. I felt like that was genius. They needed to sort of keep building up the Ivar versus Bronson feud, and one way to do that was to cost him a chance at this win, which he did do. It eventually came down to just Gargano, Wes Lee, and Cameron Grimes. Wes Lee won, so he will be facing off against Dirty Dominic Mysterio at Deadline. I think Dirty Dom will lose and Wesley will get the title back. I don't know if he will, but that just seems like the way it's going to probably happen. And now on to Dynamite. Dynamite, we got the first thing I think we got was like Ric Flair and Sting apparently. Now, apparently on Dynamite or Rampage, I think, or a recent Rampage, Ric Flair made some bad comments about 18-year-old girls or women, whatever. I don't want to get into it. It was obviously it was in bad taste. I would never condone anything like that, so just so you know. But yeah, that was not a good look for Ric Flair, because we all know his history. But Ric Flair and Sting announced that 2024's AEW Revolution pay-per-view will take place in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I didn't get the significance of it at first, but now I have now found out that Greensboro is where Sting and Ric Flair had that 45-minute match at Clash of Champions. It was either WCW or NWA. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was like WCW. That was where they had Sting and Ric Flair had that Clash of Champions match that went 45 minutes. The match that they referenced when Ric Flair in that segment where Ric Flair came into in AEW, the match that put Sting on the map, and where Sting and Ric Flair put wrestling on the map for WCW and on TNT television. So I thought, hey, that's a good little way of bringing up the past by referencing the past by having AEW Revolution take place in the very same place where Sting basically made his career. We also got the AEW Continental Classic. We got Briscoe versus Rush. I can't remember exactly who won that match. But what I do know is that we got Jon Moxley beat Jay Lethal. Do know that happened. Swerve beat Jay White. I just can't remember who won the Briscoe versus Rush match. We got Wardlow versus AR Fox. This was, I guess, because of an altercation that happened recently. Wardlow won. It was a squash match, apparently. Wardlow, I think, won after referee stoppage. I think I like it that they're sort of trying to repackage him as a monster, but I think he needs more than squash matches. I think he needs to actually get into an actual program instead of just having random squash matches week after week after week. I like him. I like Wardlow, but I think he just needs something else right now. I think he now needs something more. We got Top Flight. Darius Martin. I think it was Darius Martin returned. Either Darius or Dante Martin returned. One of those two returned this week. Ooh, pizza. Yes, I like pizza. And yes, we do need Sheamus back in WWE, and he should be returning soon. Maybe he's the guy that helps Butch in his battle with Pretty Deadly. I don't know. Yeah, Top Flight. Darius Martin, I guess, I think it was Darius Martin that made his return. And they teamed up with Action Andretti, who I'm actually kind of a fan of, versus Hardy Brothers and the brothers Zay. I don't even know, can't remember who that guy is. Can't remember what his name is. I think it was Top Flight won the match. It was a decent match from what I was able to watch. It was a decent match. We got Julia Hart versus Emi Sakura. Julia Hart, I don't know what you guys think of Julia Hart, but I love her. She has become vastly becoming one of my favorite women superstars in AEW right now. The other one, I guess, would have to be Timeless Toni Storm, just because I love her gimmick and her character. She just, most of the time when we see her, she's always doing these really exaggerated looks and hand gestures and movements. Like, don't look at me, don't look at me, or like she doesn't want people to look at her, but she does want people to look at her at the same time. Like, make up your mind, woman. But I love her gimmick. I love Timeless Toni Storm's gimmick. Toni Storm's gimmick. I like Saraya too. So those that would have to be like my top three AEW women superstars at the moment, as far as the ones that I like. That I just like, I actually like really like and love. She took on Emi Sakura in a house rules match, which I guess is a type of match that was designed for the House of Black. It was a really good match, and Julia Hart won, which I don't think she really needs to lose any of her matches now that she's champion. Obviously, we got Swerve Strickland versus Jay White. That match happened. We got, after the Jay Lethal John Moxley match, we got a John Moxley exclusive, I guess, backstage, a little promo. It was okay. I like John Moxley. I like when every time he cuts a promo, I feel like he really, you really can tell that he can really feel what he's saying. Also, we got Prince Nana and Brian Cage backstage, apparently talking to the Workhorsemen or whatever. And as we saw, they apparently teamed up with the Horsemen against Brian Cage, and the Workhorsemen teamed up against Penta. I think it was Commander and that guy from AAA, or from that El Hierro de Vikingo. However you say his name, they had a trios match on Rampage last night. I didn't watch it. Apparently, Prince Nana and Brian Cage left the match at one point. Don't know what that was all about. But that was basically it. I forgot. If I had to rate NXT, it would be a 6.5 out of 10. It was a pretty decent episode. Oh, actually, I don't know, maybe a 6, because it wasn't as good as I would have liked. But Dynamite, it would be a 6.5 out of 10. We got some good matches for the Continental Classic. Julia Hart had a good match. Oh, wait, forgot. Christian Cage and Adam Copeland had a segment. Basically, Christian Cage was responding to Adam Copeland wanting a match for the TNT title. Christian Cage was an absolute monster in this promo, not just because he was saying a whole bunch of shitty things, but because he was basically manipulating Adam Copeland and their friendship. But Adam obviously was not going to have it. He low-blowed Christian, and then said to Christian the same thing that Christian said to him when they first had their first confrontation in AEW after Adam joined AEW. F yourself. Apparently, they didn't even bleep out the F-bomb that was said, and I don't know how that's going to go with Warner Brothers Media or whatever, Warner Discovery. But now on to SmackDown, and it's just over an hour to almost an hour, but it's only 4:36 apparently according to my phone's clock, so I got plenty of time. I don't have to worry this time. I'm glad that I'm able to go live at 3:30 instead of 4 o'clock, because now I actually have time to actually get through my live stream without having to worry about time. But tonight on SmackDown, as I have said, is the only show I can watch, so I can actually watch. But that won't be the case come next year, because it'll be moving over to Monday night, it'll be moving over to USA Network. But in exchange, I'll be able to watch NXT. Great! On the CW. Whoops. But yeah, we got Bianca Belair came out in the opening segment, basically said that while her and her team may have won War Games this past week at Survivor Series, she is not done with Damage Control. And I'm like, okay, I don't know why, but why is she not done with Damage Control? Why is she not done with Damage Control? And then Charlotte Flair and Shotzi came out and also decided they wanted some more of Damage Control. And I'm like, okay, what's the problem here? Like, why does it look like Shotzi and Charlotte and Bianca aren't done with Damage Control? Because they should have been done with Damage Control following War Games. Because that's what a War Games match should do. It should end feuds. It should end feuds. Just like a Hell in a Cell match. Just like a Hell in a Cell match should be the end of a feud. Should signal the end of a feud. War Games should be the end of a feud. And they should have ended this feud with the War Games match. But apparently they're not. I don't know why. But I don't know. Maybe we'll get an explanation as to why they're continuing this sort of feud with Bayley, with Bianca, Charlotte, and Damage Control. Maybe we'll get an explanation. Maybe we won't. I am thinking that we won't get an explanation. Or if we do, it'll be just a cheap excuse. But yeah, but what we did get out of it was a Kairi Sane versus Bianca Belair match in the main event match of the night. The main event match of the night, not the actual main events. Because that was Randy Orton's return. We got Bobby Lashley versus Butch, which was a decent match. Butch did lose. Bobby Lashley did win. I actually think Bobby Lashley deserved that win. I think a little bit more than Butch, because Bobby Lashley is still sort of gaining momentum as a heel with his heel stable. Afterwards, we got Butch backstage with Kayla Braxton, pretty deadly. Confronted Butch, made fun of him. Butch then attacked Pretty Deadly, but then Pretty Deadly got the upper hand basically because it was 2-on-1 and beat down Butch. Maybe we'll be getting a tag team match, and maybe we'll get Butch with some help. Maybe it's Sheamus. Sheamus has been injured apparently since that match he had with Edge, which was Edge's last match in WWE. But maybe that was it. We got a backstage segment. Paul Heyman apparently meets Nick Aldis with Nick Aldis to talk about the Randy Orton situation. Obviously, we know Paul Heyman does not want Randy Orton on SmackDown, because Randy Orton said on SmackDown he has some receipts coming for the Bloodline in the form of RKOs. Obviously, we all know Paul Heyman doesn't want Randy Orton on SmackDown because he knows Randy Orton will eventually want to go after Roman Reigns. And he has to make sure that doesn't happen. But obviously, Paul Heyman was not able to keep it from happening. Randy Orton, at the end of the night, signed a SmackDown contract, so he is now officially on SmackDown. Which I think is the best obvious decision, because what would Randy Orton have done on Raw? Feuded with Judgment Day for months upon end, weeks upon end, with no end in sight. He would have had a match with every member of the Judgment Day by the time Royal Rumble got here. He would have had a match with at least each member of Judgment Day at that point. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, JD. He already had a match with Dirty Dom. But yeah, and Paul Heyman, I like Nick Aldis already. He's basically proving to himself that he's not going to be like other GMs who are just going to cater. He's not like Adam Pearce. He's not going to cater to. He's not going to just do whatever Paul Heyman wants. He's going to put his foot down when he needs to put his foot down, and that's gonna be and I'm gonna and I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. We got Santos versus Joaquin Wilde. That was an okay sort of match, just to fill time to sort of build the feud between Santos and Dragon Lee. Santos does win via the Phantom Driver. He then started attacking Joaquin Wilde. Dragon Lee came out to make the save. Clearly, this feud ain't over between Dragon Lee and Santos. So I'm excited for that. Apparently, we are going to get them. And then, so the next segment sort of confirmed that they're going to have another match because Logan Paul came back to SmackDown and made the announcement that he had talked with Adam Pearce and that his next challenger would be decided via a tournament, a U.S. title tournament involving Santos Escobar, Dragon Lee, Bobby Lashley, Karrion Kross, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, and a mystery and an unknown from NXT, and an unknown opponent from NXT. Who they get as the NXT competitor in this match, I don't know. Maybe it's Braun Breaker. Maybe they decide that they're going to give it to someone who's not really doing much of anything on Friday Night SmackDown on NXT. And maybe this could be their way of quietly moving up someone to the roster, to the main roster. Hey, I mean, hell, maybe Tyler Bate is the one that's going to be helping out Santos, helping out Butch. That could be a good thing. I mean, they could have Axiom. Axiom had a match had a good match with Dragon Lee recently on SmackDown. I thought that meant that he was going to be on SmackDown going forward, but apparently it may have been just a one-time thing. But yeah, we also got Kevin Owens interrupting that segment. We then got Grayson Waller and Austin Theory interrupting that segment, which then led to KO versus Grayson Waller, which was obviously gonna happen because it was announced well before this segment even took place that tonight it was gonna be Kevin Owens versus Grayson Waller. Kevin Owens wins, but the mystery going into the title tournament, because Kevin Owens is going to be in the title tournament, U.S. title tournament, is that his hand going to be broken? Because it looks like he might have broken his hand during that match with Grayson Waller, or at least Grayson Waller may have broken Kevin Owens' hand. We also got Bianca Belair versus Kairi Sane. I like that they're continuing to tease tensions between Bayley and the rest of Damage Control, especially after what happened at Survivor Series when they didn't win. But it was a good little match. Also, Bianca Belair wins. I don't know why Bianca needed to win. I think Kairi could have actually afforded to win that match. And then the main event segment was Randy Orton. He is now officially a SmackDown superstar. He signed the SmackDown contract, and I actually kind of liked the sort of back and forth between Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, kind of like two parents vying for their child's affection. Like it was like for their child's love. Like, okay, son, which one do you think is the favorite? Which parent is your favorite parent? It's like, I can do this, but I can do this. Like, I kind of liked it. That's the vibes I was getting. It was like two parents trying to get their kid to say that you're my favorite. You're my favorite. Like, oh my gosh, it's funny though. I think it's gonna I'm definitely excited to see more interactions between Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. But yeah, the Bloodline came out to try and interfere in this segment. Randy Orton hit an RKO on Jey Uso, which I thought was not the best RKO that Randy Orton's ever done. Obviously, Jimmy Uso didn't take it the way you normally would, but I don't know. It was a good episode of SmackDown. If I had to rate SmackDown last night, I would rate it a 6.5 out of 10. A 6.5 out of 10. That's about how I would rate it. One of the things that I didn't like coming out of this was the fact that they are seemingly going forward with continuing the feud between Bianca, Charlotte, and Shotzi versus Damage Control, which that feud should have automatically ended. Look, I don't care if Bianca wants to go after Damage Control again and still wants that title that she lost, but just don't include Charlotte Flair and Shotzi because there's no need for that. We don't need to see all of them feuding again, which we don't need. And another thing I have to ask is, where is Bianca Belair's heel turn? Weren't we supposed to be getting that at some point? Where's that? Where's heel Bianca? Are they not going to do it anymore? Are they not going to do it anymore and they're just going to wait? I thought we were going to get a heel Bianca Belair following Fastlane, or at least following SummerSlam, where she is tired of playing nice and she just wants the women's championship again, and she'll do whatever it takes to get the title back. That's the only other thing I kind of didn't like, was that what? You can't even hear me. You can't hear me. I'm talking as loud as I can without actually yelling. But I do want to thank you guys for coming. Oh gosh. I will be doing maybe 1 or 2 more shout out videos tonight, maybe tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to stream tonight, but I might. Who knows? If I don't, then that's okay. But I want to thank you guys for coming. You guys are amazing as always. And I got 6 likes. It's not bad. If you want to leave a comment following this live stream, feel free to do so. I will just look. I'm going to be doing a community post soon, today, before today is over, and just leave a comment, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll get to you. But I want to thank you guys for showing up. I will see you guys later. Next time I go live, you probably won't know when I go live next, but the next time that you know with 100% certainty that I will be going live is on Monday, is next week on a Saturday. So see you guys later. Peace. Okay. Bye, guys.